Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a few Solana based NFT projects. I was fortunate enough to get into Solana NFTs pretty early, and to date I've done really well for myself. I've invested in a few NFT projects that have gone up over 50x. And in this video, I'll detail the framework I use to analyze NFT projects and get into good quality ones early. Now, I do want to emphasize that this framework isn't fail-proof. I'm sure I'll come across a few NFT projects that fit within the framework I use, but still don't work out long-term. And I think just like with ICOs back in 2017, we're going to have a lot of these NFTs that are going to go up in smoke and just disappear. But once the mania subsides, once we go through a really good cleansing phase in a bear market, I believe a handful of these NFT projects are going to stay with us long term. Initially, I was very dismissive about NFTs, but I've recently come to the conclusion that they're going to play a very important role when it comes to the formation of decentralized autonomous organizations. All these NFT projects will introduce their own DAO structures, but generally speaking, your ticket into the DAO is going to be these NFTs. And I'm sure many of these DAOs will have their own focuses, but initially I think most of them will be focused on using and leveraging their collective mindshare and capital to pursue investment opportunities. And if you're interested in learning about new and upcoming NFT projects, make sure you guys give me a follow on Twitter. Oftentimes you'll see me talk about and tweet about some of the NFT projects that I'm personally investing in. With the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this video. Alright, to begin the video, I'm going to quickly share a couple projects that were a few of my early investments in the Solana network when it comes to NFTs, and I'll also share what kind of framework I applied when I was assessing these NFT projects. So one of the first things I look at is the cost to mint. When this project launched, the cost to mint was 2 SOL, and at that time, SOL was trading roughly between $40 to $50. So to me, that didn't sound very unreasonable. But lately, we've seen a lot of projects launching that, in my opinion, are simply cash grabs. There's no reason for any of these projects to charge 4 or 5 SOL. I mean, if they charge 5 SOL, that's currently trading at approximately $200, they're going to receive $10 million in SOL. And oftentimes these projects are only ran by 2 to 3 people. The next thing I like to do is head over to their Discord to check out their community. And basically what I do is I read through the comments just to see how responsive the admins are to the community members. And also, you want to see some activity between the members. Anytime you run into Discord that's kind of quiet, typically that's not a very good sign. Now, since Solana is new, there's a lot of new projects launching. If you come into a Discord channel that's new and that's still going out there to create awareness for itself, obviously you should give it some leeway and see how the community develops over time. The other thing I like to look at is if they have a clear and cut vision of what they plan to do. So in this case, you have Solien DAO, which offers a light paper, and in some case, they'll just post their objectives or aims in the Discord itself. Next up, I like to look at the Discord, the Twitter, see how many people are following them and what kind of tactics they're deploying to market themselves. I mean, you can have one of the best projects out there, but if nobody knows about you, you're not going to go anywhere. So if you scroll down Twitter, typically you can see what kind of promotions they've ran in the past, what kind of collaborations they've done to increase awareness. And if I see that they're actively out there marketing, partnering with other projects, it's typically a good sign and indication that they're going to continue growing. Also, I like to look for buzzwords like DAO. Anytime a project talks about forming a DAO, I immediately become more interested in the project. In my view, a lot of projects are probably going to head in this direction at some point. And so my objective is to buy a bunch of these projects that have a clearly defined roadmap about how they're going to form their DAO, because I think at some point the masses out there, once the thought leaders start talking about the importance of DAOs and NFTs, are going to pile into these DAO-based NFT projects. Moving along, another thing that's important to me is profit share. These guys are probably making a killing off of secondary sales, and so any project that's willing to share their royalties or the revenue that they collect from future sales reveals that they're not just interested in making money for themselves, they're interested in the long-term success of the community. And lastly, you look at the quality of the NFT. This part is highly subjective. It's usually a hit or miss, but if you take a look around on other layer 1 blockchains and see which NFTs have been popular, you can sort of approximate what appeals to the masses. Now, with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and show you 2 projects that I invested in that were super successful. The first one is Solana Monkey Business. Initially, what attracted me to them was the fact that they had some pretty good artwork and they were one of the early projects on Solana. Also, I got a pretty good vibe from people in their Discord channel. And recently, Steve Harvey, the comedian, made MBS Monkey his profile picture on Twitter. Another project that stood out was Degenerate Ape. It was another one of the early projects on Solana. I thought the artwork was a lot better than MBS. And I also noticed that it was appealing to a lot of hardcore Solana fans. Given that these fans likely have huge bags of Solana, I figured that they would ape into these NFTs. And also, I think it's a way for a lot of the whales out there to go ahead and flex, because some of the more rare degenerate apes are selling for 5,000, 10,000 SOL. Now we're going to go ahead and shift into the segment of the video where I go ahead and introduce to you guys upcoming mints. This one is called Psychedelic Koala Gang, and on September 19th, 5 p.m. UTC, they're going to host their first mint. Initially, I kind of was very dismissive about the project. The artwork didn't appeal to me, but I kept them in my radar, and I noticed one day that they posted the following announcement. They said a lot of projects are going for 10k supply and 5 to 7 million raised through the first mint, making it really hard to do a 10x, 100x, or more in the long term for most projects. This is why we will go for a lower supply and a valuation of less than 1 million to give us the ability to increase over time and giving us a higher ROI for early backers. The price will be fixed for 1 SOL. It will be updated 3 days before the mint to make sure that the valuation stays below 1 million. For the supply, we will go to 4242 as we think it's a good mixed community size versus dilution. The roadmap will be built around a hook strategy, and they're going to announce a future event feature coming in 3 to 6 months, making it worth more to hodl your koalas to increase their MPH than selling them to ensure an always low supply on secondary markets. And basically what they're referring to is a assigned off-chain meta attribute called MPH, which is the maximum period a koala has been held by the same owner. And in Q1 of 2022, a percentage of the revenue will be shared proportionally to the MPH of each koala that you own. So in other words, the longer you hold your koala NFT, the more valuable it gets. Next up, we have Solana Mecha War. And this is one of the few projects that checks off all the boxes I have in terms of the metrics I use to assess projects. And also, I was really impressed at the fact that they help out community members. I remember about a couple weeks ago, 2 of the community members lost a lot of their NFTs, and they lost almost all their SOL because they participated in an NFT minting event that ended up being a scam. So this team basically used the money that they had allocated for a marketing campaign to instead have a donation drive. And they did their best to help make their community members whole. And I've seen a little bit of that from other projects like Degenerate Apes. And to me, that's always a positive sign when a project looks after their community. And the NFTs, if you buy them, for example, if you buy the Genesis NFTs, you'll get 10% of the profits generated by every sale. And recently, they decided to introduce a royalty share mechanism, which means that anytime these NFTs are sold on the secondary markets, we as NFT holders will be able to share in some of that revenue. Now that doesn't apply to all the cards. You have to have a Mecha rank or you have to have a Genesis Mecha membership. And one thing that kind of concerns me is the fact that they only have 465 members in their Discord channel, which could be a positive in the long run because you're early in the project. But I've seen other Discords that have accumulated over 10,000 members in just a few days. So it makes me wonder how effective the marketing strategies are going to be moving forward. I mean, if it ends up being a good quality project that a lot of different people like, then ultimately all the users will end up coming to them. But given how it's getting super competitive on Solana and it's getting somewhat saturated with a lot of these projects, I am a little bit worried about their ability to market and grow their community. But outside of that, they basically check off every other box that I have, every other metric that I use to go ahead and assess projects. But outside of that, I have no problem with them. I mean, they even reduced the cost for the bundle series. And to me, that seems reasonable because they're only minting 600 cards. And they're actually having their bundle series sale today. I'm definitely going to be participating. And if you guys want to purchase these cards, it's very likely you're going to have to buy them on the secondary market. But I'm sure they're going to have future sales for you to participate in. Another project that I think is going to be hot is Rogue Sharks. This one is getting a lot of attention from the community, from multiple communities in fact. And just about everybody, every guy that looks at these sharks is immediately into them. them, and they grew their Discord very fast. And the quality of the art, in my opinion, is some of the best I've seen on Solana. And when I was reading through their Discord, which is very active, I mean, they have currently 16,000 members, I noticed that the team is going to go ahead and reduce the minting cost depending on what the price of Sol is going to be leading up to the sale. And I also like the fact that they're going to limit one shark per wallet, which is great because you prevent a whale from coming in and swooping up most of the supply. This way you get more broader distribution of the NFT. They're targeting a September launch, so make sure you guys follow them on Twitter and pay attention to any announcements that they make either here on Discord or on Twitter. Another project that I feel like is going to get a lot of hype and a lot of attention, especially when Star Atlas goes live. Basically what they're going to do is collect money from this raise and use that money to buy in-game items in Star Atlas. And after listening to the Star Atlas town hall meeting, we learned that even in the beta version, you're going to be able to rent out your ships. So there's going to be a way for people to profit from the game. And so what Solien is going to do is they're going to go ahead and deploy these items, collect rent, they're going to mine, and they're going to go ahead and disseminate these profits to their community. And if you go to their website, unlike other projects, they have a detailed light paper explaining what their objectives are. And basically, Solien is creating a DAO to leverage mindshare and capital to pursue Web 3.0 investment opportunities on Solana and potentially other chains. But initially, they're going to be focused mostly on Star Atlas. The mint price is a little bit steep in my opinion. I mean, they already had a few auctions. For example, they issued auctions for the following Genesis Galileo series. And they also issued auctions for their DAO tokens. And now they're hoping or aiming to collect 4 Sol each for 10,101 Solenians. Personally, I participated in the Galileo series auction. I bought one of these, and I also participated in their Stardust token allocation as well. And so I have about 3 tokens. Each one of those makes me eligible to mint 1 NFT for free. And that's a really good deal if they commit to this 4 Sol per mint price for the sale. Because not only am I getting an NFT, but I'm also getting Stardust, which allows me to have clout over governance and also share in the profits that they make. Another project that hit my radar is Enigma. They have a Discord with less than 1,000 members, and they currently have 466 followers. But it gives me an Abstractica vibe. I think everybody that's a fan of Abstractica will be a big fan of Enigma. And Abstractica, I remember minting those for 1.5 Sol a piece, and currently the floor on them is 25, and some of them you're able to sell for 100 or 200 plus. This is probably one of the higher risk plays that I'm making, but out of all the artwork that I've seen on Solana, this is definitely on the higher end in terms of quality. Now, if you're wondering how I find out about these projects early on, all you need to do is type hashtag Solana NFT into the search box on Twitter and basically spend every day looking through this, digging into the project a little bit, and finding out as many details as you can. And if you're unsure about a project, at the very least, what I would do is go ahead and give them a follow on Twitter and also go ahead and join their Discord. I basically turn off all the notification except for when they go ahead and add everyone. And typically when they do that, they're making an announcement. And when I have time, I'll scroll through all the announcements of all the Discord channels I've joined. And if they make a move or make some changes that appeals to me, then I'll go ahead and pay more attention to them and potentially invest in their NFT project. The last project I'm going to cover is a bonus for you guys. This one here hasn't launched yet. This is probably going to be one of the first NFT projects to launch on the Terra network. The roadmap is intentionally a little vague, but because I think they're going to be the first movers, they're likely to create the first DAO, and the quality of the NFT is pretty good. And on top of all that, I think there is this tremendous amount of demand on Terra, and they've only done limited marketing to date, and they already have 1,000 members. I think this is probably going to balloon into 10 to 20,000 as soon as they launch and more people hear about them. They're also super engaged with your community, passing back and forth quality ideas. And I've actually talked to people on the team, and I can tell that they're super excited about the project. This is not some cash grab. They plan to be long-term members of the Terra community, and they're trying to find creative ways to bring more people into the Terra network. Personally, I would consider this one of my higher conviction projects, and when they launch, I'll definitely be aping into this. Now, if you're new to all of this, whether it's DeFi, crypto in general, or NFTs, and you needed more guidance or assistance, if you join one of the higher tiers I offer, you can get one-on-one access with me, And by doing so, you'll basically expedite your learning of the entire space. I'll share with you guys all the knowledge I've gained in the last couple of years. But if you don't have the means to pay for one of the higher tiers and you wanted to go ahead and join a lower tier just to get a sense for what kind of services I offer, then just for $20 a month, you'll be able to access the private Discord channels I have where I publish my moves in real time. I'll also give you a free subscription to the paid version of my newsletter, along with many other benefits. So if you feel like any of these services would help you in any way, make sure you guys go ahead and click the Patreon link in the description below to access these services. Well, that pretty much wraps things up. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.